Did I go too far when I treated my mother-in-law exactly how she treats me? So my husband's mother, Janet, has this absolutely infuriating thing where she constantly corrects my pronunciation and the way I speak, like I'm some kind of child who doesn't know proper English. I'm originally from Boston, and she's this incredibly posh Connecticut lady who apparently thinks my completely natural Boston accent makes me sound uneducated and embarrassing to their family. Every single family dinner without exception, she'll interrupt me right in the middle of my sentences before I can even finish my thoughts. It's car, not CAH. Please speak more clearly. The word is park, not pock. You really need to work on your pronunciation. You should try to enunciate better, dear. She does this constantly in front of absolutely everyone. My husband's siblings and their wives, our young children, even complete strangers and waitstaff at restaurants when we're out for family meals together. My husband just sits there quietly and lets it happen because that's just how she's always been since he was growing up, but I can tell he's genuinely uncomfortable with the whole situation. He's actually started talking significantly less at family gatherings over the past few years, deliberately trying to avoid setting me up for even more corrections and public embarrassment from his mother. The situation has gotten progressively worse over time. What started as occasional comments has turned into constant surveillance of every word that comes out of my mouth. She'll even correct me when I'm talking to our kids, which is absolutely infuriating. Last month at my daughter's birthday party, she interrupted me while I was reading a story to the children because I said cod instead of card. The kids looked confused, and my daughter asked why grandma was being mean to mommy. It's created this horrible tension where I find myself second-guessing every word before I speak, trying to modify my natural accent just to avoid her condescending corrections. My husband has asked me to just ignore it and keep the peace, but it's become impossible to enjoy any family gathering when I'm constantly walking on eggshells. The absolute breaking point came last Sunday evening at Janet's elaborate 65th birthday dinner celebration. We were all gathered at this expensive restaurant downtown that she'd specifically chosen, and she did it again without any hesitation whatsoever. Right there in front of our innocent 8-year-old son Tommy, she rudely interrupted me mid-sentence to correct how I pronounced water. Tommy looked genuinely upset and confused, and asked with his sweet little voice, "Mommy, why does Grandma always keep interrupting you when you're trying to talk?" That's when something inside me completely snapped, and I decided I'd had absolutely enough. About 15 minutes later, Janet started enthusiastically telling this incredibly long-winded story about her precious weekly book club and their latest literary selection. But here's the ironic part that made my blood boil. Throughout her entire rambling story, she kept consistently saying ideal instead of idea over and over again. She must have said it wrong at least 6 or 7 times during her monologue, maybe even more. It made me laugh and knew this was my moment. I decided to start copying her exact same technique and approach that she'd been using on me for years. Every single time she said ideal incorrectly, I would immediately interrupt her just like she constantly does to me. It's idea, Janet, not ideal. The word you're looking for is idea. You mean idea, right, Janet? The entire table went completely dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. She turned bright red and started stammering defensively. I don't understand what you mean. I'm speaking perfectly clearly. I smiled as sweetly as humanly possible and said in the most innocent tone I could manage, "Oh, I'm just helping you speak correctly and properly, Janet. Isn't that exactly what caring family members do for each other? I thought you'd really appreciate me helping you sound more educated." She immediately grabbed her purse, made some weak excuse about suddenly feeling unwell, left the restaurant early, and hasn't spoken to either of us since that night. My husband thinks I went too far, but honestly, she finally got a taste of her own medicine.